Eliminate stress by mastering your nervous system. You can actually directly influence your nervous system with some very simple tactics. I'm going to show you how. Do you suffer from stress? Do you feel like maybe you have brain fog, you're not an inability to concentrate, you're in a state of anxiety, maybe depression, you feel you're not you don't feel like you have your life in your hands, that you can actually, I don't know, the world is your oyster because you're always stressed out. Maybe you feel lonely, maybe you feel disconnected. That's what I'm going to talk about today, and how you can really access the different branches of your nervous system to calm your nervous system at will and actually get more energy, more focus. Don't become sick as easily as possible, because stress really is, mental stress is really screwing up how you're responding to the world around you. And it affects your decision, it affects what you eat, what you do, how you react to people, how you are socially with other people, how you work, the decision you make. So it is essential. I mean, everything starts with your mind. So I'm going to talk about that today. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another, because everything starts with the mind. That was from William James, and it is so true. What happens in your mind leads everything. You want to work out? It starts here, man. Everything starts with your mind. Some people seem to have everything going for them. They could be rich, in super shape, look great, have money, fame, everything, and yet they're miserable. And yet I've seen people, I travel the world, I traveled for 10 years, I was away for 10 years, I've been in 40 countries, I learned 3 foreign languages, English being one of them, I'm French Canadian. And man, I've seen people that have nothing. Seriously, they make maybe $2 a day, and they're content, they were calm, you can see in their eyes just the way they are, And yet we see people here, people here are crazy. I'm in Toronto, Canada, and the whole Western world, man, I'm looking at kids, and they're just like, their head down. I'm in a beautiful place here in a park, and I see kids like this. Their head is down, and they're looking at that devilish device that sucks away all their attention. And if you talk to them, they're not even there. Like, you can't even talk to them. They don't even understand why you'd be, like, they're so screwed up, man. I'm so glad I'm not born in this era. Wow. So your mind is everything. Now, to manage your nervous system, there are ways to do it. You want to have a certain amount of stress in life, okay? You need a certain amount of stress. You need positive stress. For example, you go to the gym, you get positive stress. When you do a heavy set of squat, it's a stress, but it's good stress. If you do too many sets of squats, then you're overloaded. You become burnt out, you can become sick. You got to balance everything. Everything is about balance. Everything is about balance. My whole system is about balance. That's how I stayed in shape at 54. I've done so many crazy things in this world, man, you got no idea. Seriously, I'm not exaggerating. But I used tactics to really bring me back regularly to a state of homeostasis, where my body and my mind can actually find a place that is centered, where my system will actually take care of what's there and deal with the stressors and actually rest properly and get my mind aligned. And I've been diagnosed ADHD 98th percentile, which means amongst 100 people, there's 2 people more ADHD than me, okay? And yet, I can stay on task. Man, I can stay on task so much. Like now I play drums sometimes. I played drums the other day, and I'm the only drummer in that group. And I seriously, we did 140 songs. I'm not kidding, okay? And tight. Yet, and it's a very simple beat. And yet, ADHD guy here shouldn't be able to do that. I do, okay? And there's all kinds of tricks, all kinds of tactics that you can use to get your mind to stay focused on task. That's what I'm going to talk about today. So, where are we going? Yeah, okay, so, I was talking about exercise and too much exercise and balance. When I was 17, I went to a gym the first time, a weight training gym, at a time when people didn't have annoying Bluetooth devices on all the time, so you couldn't talk to them. You could actually talk to people. It was quite pleasant. But I didn't know anything about training. I just wanted to go balls to the walls. And so I did. I would just love the gym. It was like five houses down from my house. It was perfect. I'd go there 6 days a week, I think, and I just overtrained because I didn't know how to balance my nervous system. You have anxiety. You're stimulated in all kinds of ways, right? Things happen to you. And if you don't know how to lead yourself to a place of calm, then you're what I call a leaf in the wind. And unfortunately, this is the normal state of being of most people today. They're not aware, and whatever it is they do creates their mindset, creates their vibe, affects them. You need to know, you need to pull back. So to go back to that 17-year-old boy trying to train there, I couldn't deal with my mind's very fast, but I got a lot of stuff happening in my head. As an ADHD guy, man, it's like I got 3 thoughts at the same time all the time. My thing is, so I had to learn to calm my mind. It was essential for me. Otherwise, I was drinking like a fish when I was a kid. I started extremely young to deal with that overexcitement, overstimulation in my mind. So I had to do that to survive. And that's where I got to have the knowledge I have now at 54. And that's how I survive. And I mean, I can't believe that I'm in, I thought I wouldn't live to be 30, quite frankly. I'm 54 and kicking, so that's pretty good. So what I was doing is I was dealing with my anxiety through over-exercising because I didn't have any other tactic. So what I'm going to talk about today is how to get those tactics to get the mind calm and centered. So I'm going to talk about a cat. So if you look at a cat is spending most of his days relaxing. If you look at a cat, they just look like they're completely like, their peripheral vision is very open. They don't stare at things. They just kind of, you see their tail going like this, and they're just relaxing. This is the rest and digest part of the nervous system. That's where you're trying to be when you don't need to be in the hyper-focus mode. We are in hyper-focus mode all the time in this society. For example, the cat, when he sees a mouse, he goes into that hyper-focus mode. He goes after the mouse with everything he's got. There's nothing else that counts. And when he's done, he comes back and he just chillax or rest and you recuperate. So this is what we need to work on to get back, to know how to get the stress down and be centered. Because otherwise, your hormones are off the chart crazy in the stress, cortisol super high. You're retaining fat as a survival mechanism because your body thinks it's a very stressful situation right now. And you're burning muscles to sustain your system because your body wants amino acid and it wants to maintain the glucose level in the body optimally. So you're losing muscle and you're gaining fat. And that's one of the reasons why people are so fat today and they can't fix it because they don't know how to balance. So they're going to say, I got to work out. And then they work out too much. They don't know when, they work out too late. So they can't sleep. And all the things I talk about in my system, Sane and Healthy, because you need balance. You need the foundations. If you have one of your foundation that's not solid, that's where you're going to fail. Every time. Everything is about balance. And that's why you need your mind to be centered. Because then you can observe, you can think properly. You're not looking at your gadget telling you, oh, I get that. No, you don't need that shit. That's just taking your power away. You want your power back. You want to be here, right now, and you want to be in charge. So, and one reason people eat too much and all kinds of shit is because they don't know how to deal. And then they go, I got to eat something, I'm feeling anxious, and then that's it. They don't think, stuff their face, and they get fat. There's no magic pill, okay? Every part of your life affects your nervous system. We are in the age of overstimulation. Everything is trying to sell you some stuff you don't need. Now, I noticed that, I remember 10 years ago, I go to a gas station, gas in my car, and they put these freaking TV right in front of you where they're selling you some stuff you don't need, some advertisement. You go pee at a bar in front of the urinal, now they got a screen. It's like, man, it's crazy. So we gotta, make choices to avoid all that toxic stuff, because it is toxic, just like junk food. Junk in, junk out. You gotta make an effort. You gotta empty the glass of garbage to fill it up with something that is needed, or simply leave it empty for a while. How about that? Imagine walking outside without your device. Imagine that. It sounds like a revolutionary concept these days. Isn't that crazy? When I was a kid, I used to go in the woods for the whole weekend. I would just disappear, tell my parents I was 14. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go, there's some shack there, I can just camp in. I go and bring my backpack and my books and my candles, and that's all I did. No phone, nothing. I traveled Europe when I was 18 in 88, 1 year, 30,000 kilometers. And I didn't have, we didn't have anything, man. I had a map of Europe, an old map of Europe. And that's it. It was great. It was fantastic. It was the best, And now we're moving away from that. Your subconscious needs space. What you do during the day needs to be absorbed by your subconscious. You can watch my other video on sleep. Sleep is so important. Sleep is important for all kinds of reasons, but it's important to assimilate subconsciously, because most of your life, most everything, how you function is subconscious. It's not conscious. So you need to get those two things aligned to work together. So now 24/7 crap playing somewhere, you want to feel better, turn that off, do something else, and move into actions. Because you're going to be watching this right now, and you're a consumer. You are being called a consumer. Every time you hear that, you should feel insulted. It's insulting. You're not a consumer. You're a man or a woman. You're a human being. You're not a consumer. Okay? The experience is much vaster. Vaster? Is that a word? Something like that. So understanding the functioning of the nervous system. So let me explain how the nervous system works and how certain activities can overstimulate us. So in simple terms, the nervous system is divided into two branches, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic is the fight or flight. The parasympathetic is the rest and digest. You need to balance those two. And like I said before, we are way too much in the sympathetic, the fight or flight. Fight or flight is a stressful place. If you're thinking about fighting or running, it's stress. We live in fear. Everything in this world is there to control you through fear. It's not sex. People think it's sex. If you're having sex in the woods, there's a bear that comes. Trust me, you're going to stop having sex really fast. Fear is everything around you, Everything to control you in some way or another, You're missing out on something, the fear of missing out, or the fear for your health, or the fear for whatever it is. Everything's about fear. You want to move out of that state of fear, because it sucks to live in that place. Period, It's all kind of bad effect on you, but it sucks. It's terrible. Don't be fearful. You got to calm down. How do you do that? So I spoke about the cat example. You want to get back to that place where the cat is just, very quiet, relaxing, enjoying what's happening. You want this peripheral vision, right? Also, stress is, people have addictions, all kinds of addictions right now, right? Everybody's taking something, man. They're taking an antidepressant, or they're taking alcohol, or they're taking weed. Now weed is everywhere. Every corner in Toronto, it's crazy. Like seriously, like maybe every 3 corners, there's a pot shop. People are super stressed. And again, instead of going, hey, what's going on here? I gotta pause. Stop this. Stop. Look around, and I'm gonna show you some tactics on how you can do that. But people are addicted to anything, man. Shopping, of course, because we're consumers, right? So stop being a consumer. Okay, the social health effect of stress. People attuned to you, right? Like right now, if you're watching this, you're attuning to me. If I speak calmly, it is calming for you. If I'm stressed out, it's going to stress you out. You're attuning to my face, to my expression. You're attuning to the tone of my voice. So, you know, when you watch the news, which are not news, there's nothing about news in there, okay? The news are not news. I hope that's not news to you. But, you know, there's an infinite ocean of possibilities of things you can focus your attention on. Some people own the news, control the news, and they want your attention in that place, and they want to tell you how to think. That's a different topic. But when you listen to their tone of voice, those guys, first of all, they're just actors, right? They just get a script, they read it, they don't care about anything. Believe me, I got friends, journalists. People that want truth are not many. A friend of mine said to me, and I always remember that, you can judge a man by its capacity or to handle truth, by how much truth he can handle. If you're looking for truth, which is essential, look for truth, because you'll find bullshit everywhere. You'll find lies, nonsense everywhere around you. Our first job in life should be to find truth. Ask questions nonstop, and ask yourself. There's two things I want to tell you that are very important. The first question should be, ask yourself, how do you know what you don't know? How do you know what you don't know? I know it may sound stupid to some people, but how do you know what you don't know? The answer is you don't, of course. But it's one thing to just say the words, and be on autopilot. Oh yeah, of course, no, but there's a difference between actually thinking about the implications of this and staying with this in your mind. And for that to happen, of course, you need space in your mind. You need to see the world with more depth. You need to be thinking about the whole picture. And I'm going to tell you, and the second one is, after that is, how do you know what you know? How do you know what you know? Because nothing comes out of thin air. Everything that you think you know, you've heard somewhere. Very few people take time to actually pause and ponder and think. You need space for that. And I'll tell you a great study. Most studies are bullshit because there's somebody paying for the study and it has an interest, there's an incentive in all fields, unfortunately. There was a study that compared on an MRI, how the brain reacted. You know, the brain has different regions. When you do an MRI, you're measuring blood flow to a certain area of the brain, a particular area. So now we've kind of identified which area does what. You know, some areas are physical, your brain, some are pain, some are different areas. So they asked people of an average age, two groups. One group, 26 years old, average. The other group was 57 years old, average. Moral dilemma question. Can't remember exactly. It was something like, it was on a train. A train is going somewhere on a track, and there's going to be a bifurcation, left or right. And on the left, it was something like, if you take the left one, you're running over 3 babies, and if you take the right one, something like that. We call that moral dilemma questions, which require a lot of thinking, because there's a lot involved in it, and so many implications, right? Well, the 26-year-olds had either 1 or 2 regions of the brain that would lit up. The 57-year-olds had all the brain lit up, because as you're aging, you got wisdom. You're seeing things much more complicated. You can see the implications of everything, right? So wisdom is expanding this awareness of the complexity and being able to put things together and work as a coherent whole. And I think that's what we're missing in the school system big time, because all we do is we put people in school, they come out, they got a PhD, and they're just narrowed their understanding of things in a very, very, very specialized way. and they can't see the forest for the trees. I talk to people at PhD sometimes. It's just like sometimes you're like, wow, you spent all this time in school and you can't think your way out of a paper bag. You know, it's like it's pretty depressing. Anyway, so that's a different topic, and I'll talk about that. I'll talk about the trivium, the right method of education, the trivium, which is the 3-question: grammar, logic, rhetoric. The grammar part is something like what, who, where, when. Then you go into the why, the logic, and then you go into the why, the how, the rhetoric, how you explain things to yourself and to other people. That's going to be a great video, but it's a lot of work. Anyway, I'll come to this soon. Now I'm going to give you some tricks to lower your stress levels. Okay, so open your gaze. So your eyes are part of your brain that were pushed out as you grew into a human being. It's attached to your brain. It's right there. So if you want a simple way to calm down really fast right now, you can try this after this video. Don't do it when you're driving. You just sit down and you stop thinking about anything. You focus all your attention into your gaze, into what you're seeing on your desk, outside here, and you just look and observe. And the quantity of information that you can get that is there, which, because we're on autopilot, we don't usually see this information. It's just, you know, whatever, it's there. Now you pause and you actually look at what's around you. And just do that, and you breathe. Normally you just relax. You just look. And you can do that every 15 minutes, half an hour, to bring you back to where you are. Just relax, take a few deep breaths, and look around. There's a nice butterfly that just landed on a leaf here. Wow, 2 of them. Spring. So, you know, what is it? Stop and smell the roses kind of thing. That's kind of what it is, right? Very simple intervention. Deceptively simple. And we're always being sold stuff that we don't need, because what we need is to clarify and simplify and move into action. That's it. That's one of those things. Now, another one. You know, you can go, and another way to come out of hyper-focus is to simply go for a walk without a device. Again, looking around at stuff, listening to sound. What is there? Just paying attention to your senses, because you've been given all these senses. It's all there. It's all part of you. And there's enough information in there to keep you busy all the time. So get off your device. Get off the stress system. Get off the consumer mindset that is completely screwing you up, okay? Clarity, simplicity is where you want to go, because that's where you are. You don't need shit you don't need. Go in nature. You see, I love to shoot here. I got this place here. It's amazing. I'm so happy I found this place here, man. Really just behind my house. And I can just get the fresh air, hear the birds, and it's nice just to calm down. And when I get to talk to you, you know, I can be present. It allows me to be more present. Nature is fantastic. Be as natural as possible, you know. Now, it's such an, you know, you see, it's simple what I talked about today, right? It's quite simple. And simplicity is what we're missing. Simplicity. And everything starts with your mind. To be simply here right now. And the fear of missing out that is constantly pushed onto you, that you think that you need more and more and more and more. But look at what you're assimilating. Okay, by age 30, you've seen about 100 commercials, advertising, piece of propaganda. By age 30, 1 million. 1 million. It's about, you know, 100 a day. So you've been brainwashed nonstop, and all those thoughts, those ideas, this knowledge that you think you have, it's not your knowledge. It's just been put into your head nonstop. And like a fish in water, you don't know it's there. You don't, it's just the medium you swim in. And if you don't pause and reflect on it, you don't know. And you're just like what I call a leaf in the wind, and you're being played in every way possible. Every way possible. More than you think. And if you pause to think about it, you'll realize how much you're being played. And it's important because you want to get your power back. It's in you. You are in charge. Not me, not some guy on YouTube telling you what to do. It's all on you, always, all the time. And you want to have that. You want to be you. The more you're you in a calm space, the better you are a person to be with. The wiser you will be. The better your decisions will be. Then you can make the right decisions about what you need to do for real. You can be more available to people. You can meet the partner of your dream. If it's someone like this, don't you want to meet someone who is actually centered, calm, real, not a leaf in the wind, right? To be interesting, you need to be interested. Be what you want, and it always starts with your mind. I created a system, Sane and Healthy. I highly recommend you get that, because whatever knowledge you have is not important. If it's not applied, it doesn't do anything to you. And you've been a consumer of information, of self-help, of all kinds of things, of watching people like me doing something, because right now I'm not passive, I'm active. You want to be active. You've been trained all your life to be passive, to sit in a school, to listen to the person in front telling you what things are. No, you want to figure out what things are. Life, really, you should be equipped to think of life as a jungle. You have a machete, you're going in the wild, and you're opening up your own path, unique to you. But the way we've been trained, is a path. Oh, look, this is the jungle, but this is the path. You follow this path, and that's the path, and you follow that path, and there's always a path, and another path, and they tell you this path, and you should take that path. You gotta make your own path. You gotta figure out your needs, your capacities, according to your lifestyle, what is going to be best for you. You want to identify that. And if you want to change, you need actions. If you want to change, you need a plan. Because you don't have a plan, you're a leaf in the wind. It's the new thing, the new hype, the new gadget, the new, always. And if you look at yourself, have you really changed? You're watching this probably because you want to change. You want to have, tricks, ways, tactics, systems, something that works for you. You got to get organized. You want to plan. My book is very, very, very simple. And I worked my ass off for 2 years to take 37 years of training myself to make it as simple and clear as possible so that it works for you. Doesn't matter, it's not for me, it's for you. It's finding your blind spots as easily as possible. You got 5 questions at the end of each chapters. And then you answer, they're not even questions, they're statements to make it easier. So you just know, you go yes, somewhat, or no. It's 0, 1, or 2. You get a score from 0 to 10. At the end of the system, the end of the book, you get your score. You know exactly what you need to work on. That's it. And then you choose a tactic in that where your blind spot are, the core element. Let's say for you, I don't know, it's sleep or whatever core element is. And you go there, you choose one tactic, put it on the form, and then that, put it on your fridge, whatever, you get check mark. You're your own coach. You know, you don't have to pay the big bucks to work with me or anybody else. It's going to save you so much time and money. And yeah, I mean, I don't like selling my stuff, but I can't recommend that enough because it works, it's unique. Nothing is like that. It's 30 bucks. It's so cheap. I'm telling you, make it. If you don't like it, just, ask me for your money back. No problem. But do something. Get the plan. Move into action. Move into action. Okay? Move into action. And it's got to be simple, clear, easy. Just a little change in direction, one step at a time. The road of 1,000 miles starts with a simple step. So, get that and get your power back ASAP.